Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to show you guys how I did this tri-color ombre, so let's jump right into it. So I was really happy I got the opportunity to make a nail set like this. I've actually never really done anything quite like this before, and I honestly didn't know how I was going to go about it, so I knew I had to film it for you guys. I'm starting off with my medium length coughing nail tips. I did already buff them, and I am applying a nice even coat of base coat gel. In case you're new to my channel or you're new to press-ons, you can use any type of base coat gel that you would like. This just gives it a little extra strength, and especially because they're shorter nails, it's definitely not a necessary step. It's just something I like to do for all of my nail sets. So once the base coat is cured, I like to go in with my first color. So I'm going to be using the same color on every single nail, and I'll show you guys the inspo photo in a second here, but I'm using this really beautiful pink color, and the colors I'm using will be in the description box. So I am doing 2 coats, curing in between. I like to cure for 60 seconds, and honestly, anytime I make a nail set that is a full color, I make sure to fully cure it, because sometimes any brand of gel polish can have a tendency to wrinkle or anything like that, and you don't want that to happen to you. So this is the actual inspo photo right here, and this is the creator of the original design as well. So I didn't know what I was going to do exactly. All I knew was that I had to do 3 colors, and it had to be like stripes. Or no, 2 colors, sorry. I think I said tricolor in the beginning. It's just 2 colors, but it's like a triple line. So my mistake for saying that in the beginning. At first, I thought I was only going to go in with the darker pink and blend it in, and it was going to be perfect, but it's actually not really working out like that. So I'm actually having to add the darker pink again in 3 stripes, and then I'm going to add 2 stripes of the light pink in between those colors here, which you guys will see in a second. This is the perfect way to do an ombre like this. So if you guys ever get asked for this, this is all you have to do to create it, is just put both colors down. And I like to use a makeup wedge sponge. I did already add these to my Amazon storefront. So if you guys have been looking for good makeup wedge sponges, I added the exact ones that I've been using. Honestly, you can't just use any kind, because I've tried using some other ones. Like before, I think a few years ago when I had ran out, I ran to Dollar Tree really quick and just grabbed whatever they had there. And I tried using that, and it does not work the same. You'll notice that depending on the type of makeup wedge sponge you use, you might get more bubbles or more of an uneven application, or you might even get like little bits of the sponge falling off and sticking to the nail. If you guys have experienced any of this, it could be due to the type of sponges you're using. So try some out from Amazon. They come in a big pack for a pretty affordable price, and they last me a really long time. So yeah, that's the one thing I wanted to say about that. I have a lot of people that will message me and tell me that they struggle with this method, and honestly, I don't know, I feel like it definitely has to do with the sponges that you're using, and also the type of gel polishes. Anytime you're creating an ombre like this where it's colorful, you want to use a pigmented gel polish, and you want to have a lot of patience. It's not going to come out perfect at first. That's why I wanted to leave in the actual full footage of me doing every single layer here in this video, because it takes so many layers. It's definitely a labor of love. So you're gonna have to go in with multiple layers, probably multiple different colors, just to see what exactly you need, and depending on the colors that you need also. So you'll see here I'm going in now with a brighter reddish pink. It is almost identical to the color that was in the inspo photo. I always try my hardest to really match the inspo photos to what I'm creating to the inspo photos, so that the customer gets exactly what they're asking for. I just try my best. Of course, you guys know we don't always have the exact color that people ask for, so you just have to try to mix and match your colors. Eventually, over time of doing nails and doing so many different customer nail sets, whether you do acrylic, polygel, press-on nails, you're going to naturally become better at color theory and matching colors. You're naturally going to start getting really good at it, and you're going to be able to know exactly what colors you need to mix in order to get the colors that you need. So over time, you'll learn that. So don't feel pressured to know that right away. That's something that comes with practice and a lot of nail set making, because when you're barely starting out, you don't have the you might not have the opportunity to purchase all of the colors that you're going to need, like a full collection that's thousands of dollars. You might not have the capabilities to do that, which was my situation. So I took years and years to build up my gel polish collection, and eventually over time I was able to have a lot of colors in my collection. But even with all of the colors I do have, I still don't have every single color that people ask me for. So yeah, I know that's kind of random, but don't feel like you need to have every color at first. You're just going to have to mix some colors in the beginning to get what you need. And even not in the beginning, you might still have to do it later on down the line, because that's what I still have to do in so many videos. I'm always mixing colors because I want to make it exactly like the photo. You know what I mean? And another thing, I was really intimidated by this design because I think the original inspo photo is done with like an airbrush. It's really easy to achieve a design like this with an airbrush machine because you just go in stripes back and forth, back and forth. The only thing that's difficult about the airbrush is that you have to constantly clean, or not constantly, but every time you want to use a new color, you have to clean the machine out, like clean it out, then go back in with the new color and mix another mixture of the new color. I personally don't like using the airbrush. In case you guys are new to my channel, I know I get new people literally every day. I don't like using an airbrush personally because I feel like it's kind of like toxic. Like, I don't know, when I used an airbrush before, there was so much backspray and it just flies all over the room that I'm working in, and it's just, I can like literally feel like I'm breathing it in for like the next few hours while I'm there, and I hate that feeling. So I just personally don't like it, and I try to use my sponge for every type of blending type of technique. So whether it's an ombre like this, a regular ombre with just two colors, an aura method, I always just go in with a sponge or a blooming gel or something. I will figure it out because I just don't want to use an airbrush machine. And of course, like depending on what colors you're going to use, you might not get the same effect as an airbrush machine. Like an airbrush machine does make everything look super flawless, but once you get the technique of using the sponge down and you get it like you're really good at it and you practice a lot, it looks almost identical. Like you can't really tell whether you used sponge or an airbrush machine. Like I know after I was done with this nail set, to me at least, if I saw someone post these, I would assume that they used an airbrush machine. I wouldn't even think that they used a sponge. So I like to make these videos to kind of show you guys how you can do different things. You don't need to buy so many fancy tools if you don't want to, or if you're just beginning. Like, you know, I kind of am like a creature of habit in a way because I have used a sponge since the beginning of time. I think I did a video literally when I first started my YouTube channel years and years ago, probably like 5 years ago. I did a tutorial using a makeup sponge, like an actual beauty blender egg thing, to do an ombre, and ever since that I have never went back. Like I tried an airbrush probably in a different video, and I love the way the airbrush looks. It's literally so flawless, but it just wasn't for me because of like the back spray. My animals are always with me too, and I don't want them breathing that in, and I also don't want to breathe it in. I also have really sensitive skin, so I don't know, I just feel like my skin being around like the back spray of an airbrush machine would be too much, because I think you mix it with acetone, right? Either acetone or alcohol, I'm not sure, when you got to mix the gel polish, so that's all flying into the air, so that's why I don't like it personally. But yeah, so I have so many tutorials on here if you guys are like really interested in seeing more technique and like more of the way I do it, because I know this video is like not so long, but I don't know how else to explain it to you other than like you have to keep going in with layers and layers and layers, and some people might think that this is like excessive, but I don't know, I feel like it's also kind of excessive when you have to mix so much of the color with the airbrush machine too. So it's kind of the same thing. It's just these techniques, like these type of techniques just use like kind of a lot of product and stuff, especially with the sponges. Sometimes they absorb a lot, but when you're making two nail sets, like two hands, you can honestly go in with so many different layers with one coat of gel on the sponge. Like you'll see me constantly reapplying, but when I was doing the other hand, because I did the other hand off camera, I was using a lot of this gel for the other hand as well. So keep that in mind also. But you can just see me going back and forth here. For the thumb, I did spread the lines thicker apart because the thumb is bigger, and I do show you guys in a second like what that looks like, because you can definitely see like the difference that I had to do when I had to use two different sponges, one for the thumb and one for the other finger. I feel like if I would have went in with the same sponge on the thumb, there would have been more lines than there was on the others. And in the original photo, there was 3 hot pink stripes per nail. So I really wanted to match that. I think there was 3, I'm not sure, but these nails are definitely much shorter. So I was just trying to do the best that I could. On the right here is the sponge I used for the thumb, and on the left is the sponge I used for all of the other nails. So you can see how much more I spaced it out, and it looks perfect. So I really wanted to show you guys that. Once I was done with everything and cured it, I did go in with my glossy top coat. This is also in my storefront if you guys are interested. So I'm applying a nice even layer of extra glossy top coat, and this top coat has been my absolute favorite lately. I feel like if you guys try it, you're gonna love it too. I like using products that are pretty affordable, but when it comes to like things that need to be really good quality, I am not afraid to, like, you know, splurge on that. But this top coat is so good, and a lot of brands will honestly get top coats from manufacturers that are all the same as these other ones that you can find on Amazon. So don't feel like just because it's affordable that it's not good quality. That's definitely not true, because this top coat is so glossy, it's long lasting, and I really like it, honestly. I know the company does not pay me for that, saying that, but yeah, so I did the glossy top coat on all of the nails. I always go back on the sides to clean it up so that there's no lumpiness. And then once it was finished, this was the finished result. I honestly love how it looks. I could not even tell if it was an airbrush or a sponge. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and let me know what you want to see next. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.